Hey guys, it's Brooke, Qual Keepers, and today we're going to be discussing a little cleanup on incubators here. Obviously, look at this thing. I'm kind of embarrassed how filthy it is. These are all, quail shells from incubating and obviously hatching. So we're going to clean this guy up here, and then you always want to check your rails. This is my little giant, by the way. You want to check your rails, and this guy here needs a bit of cleanup. I think obviously an egg kind of burst there, but haven't used this guy in a while. Make sure your rails are real clean, and don't get your motor wet when you're cleaning your rails, okay? That's really important, obviously. Another important factor, look at my, goodness, look at that. It's just dust and debris from their hatches, and this happens. So I'm going to take it downstairs and blow it out with an air compressor. But we're going to be cleaning this guy up today with, I'm just going to use this spray bottle and some Dawn, and then I got a little old toothbrush here so I can get in nooks and crannies. So that's step one in setting up your incubators, guys, before you even plug it in. Again, make sure not to get any of these mechanical things wet or anything. Keep them nice and dry. So, cleaning these guys up now. Alright guys, I got all my parts cleaned. I got my egg trays with my turner here all nice and clean. And then I got this little plastic screen all nice and clean. Then I got this with my little circulated air motor all clean. So I'm just gonna see the channels in here, guys. That's your little reservoir for your water, where your water goes. With these styrofoam hatching incubators, when you wash them out, they actually take up a lot of the water, and so when you turn them on, they're going to the humidity is going to actually be quite high on it for a while until a lot of that moisture kind of gets out of there. So we're going to set our rails in, and then with this little giant, it's got a little notch here. I'm going to put that guy through, so that's going to be, generally the top. So we got our rails in, and then we'll just swing around our top here, set that guy in, and make sure that, it's setting on there and snug. So there's our little dial where we can see our, our temperature and our humidity. So let's plug this guy in for you. I've actually already plugged this in prior to the video and calibrated it, and I know what's going on with my own incubators here. So just plug in the top here. Let her rip. Alright, check it out, guys. That's kind of cute. I love this little, I don't know if you guys can see it. It's got this little chick down below. Oh, you can't see it. Oh, it's not on yet. That's right. When it says that it's ready to put your eggs in, it's got this cute little chick coming out of a egg on the little dial here. But it just shows you your humidity and temperature, and then it shows me my heat is on right down there in the left hand corner. So everything's working right now. It's showing me 74.3 degrees in there right now, and my humidity is always off with these guys. I know exactly how to calibrate them correctly and stuff when I'm doing my hatches. So alright, that's a little plug-in, and when it's ready at 99.5 degrees for your heat, and I'm gonna have it at 35 to 45 degrees humidity, and I'm sure right now this guy is pretty high in humidity, so I'm gonna let it rest. And you always want to set your incubators up at least one night. Well, I would recommend several nights before you set your eggs, just to make sure that it's calibrated correctly and everything, and you're not going to run into problems. You know, when you're set your eggs in there, you're not going to be freaking out because either your temperature or humidity is off. So definitely do that, and have a secondary thermometer and hygrometer in there, guys. You need that incubator's lies, so always throw your extras in there. I'm actually going to bring this upstairs and throw my extra thermometer and hygrometer in here, and we will show you how I set my eggs. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys how I weigh out my eggs and how I will put them in the incubator, and I can distinguish which eggs are from which birds, and you know, which cages and whatnot. So here's my scale, obviously. And then I like to use this little tray here, and then of course you're gonna tear it out, you know, bring it back to 0. So I got some jumbo eggs over here, and so this is, you know, I always separate my jumbo eggs and put them aside, always, because those are the ones I'm definitely gonna want to set in the incubator. So obviously that guy was 14. We're gonna keep him, her, hopefully. Well, you never know. 15.3. 16.2. Just haven't seen my numbers on my jumbos I just collected. 14.1. And you know, you can eyeball which ones are jumbo if you don't, you know for sure that they are, you know, coming from your jumbo lines. You can definitely tell if you've got a sneaker that just comes in and that sort of thing. So this is 13.8. I like to keep anything over 14, so I'm going to set that guy aside. Alright, so those are my jumbos, and then with these guys, I know that they're not jumbo just by eyeballing them and, you know, by weight in my hand and stuff. And so these guys I know came from my SSC Tibetan Red Range cage that I have. And actually, I just wanted to show you an example of like a really tiny egg that you don't want to use. And I know which bird that this is coming from. This is coming from my only Italian hen that I have left. 11.7, not bad, but let's look at the size here, you know, just in the palm of the hand. It's definitely a lot smaller. So that was just an example of a really teeny egg. You can just see him even sitting in the carton there. He looks teeny. But, so I'm going to use these markers, actually, and what I do is on the eggs, on the back side, that's where their air sac is, right? And so that's where they're going to breathe and everything. So that's where they pip right around at the top of the fat end of the egg. So I always mark on the very top with a Sharpie, and, you know, I'll put a J, and that's all we're doing, right? Just putting that J on top. It's not going to harm the bird or the hatch rate or anything. It's not like we're scribbling on the egg. And so I'll, you know, distinguish my hatches and stuff when I'm incubating based on, you know, you can do color or just simply letter, J for jumbo, or, you know, SSC, whatnot. But you're going to write it right on the top, the fat part of that egg, because it's going to pip, and you're always going to have that leftover fat part in your incubators once they're done hatching and everything. So you'll be able to see which ones hatched for you at that time. You don't even have to candle. You can just see which ones, you know, hatched at the end, and you can count up and tally out what you got at the end, just based on simply marking them with your Sharpies or your colors or whatnot. And you can do letters, numbers, just categories, and just wanted to give you guys my tip. And that's kind of how I separate my eggs when I'm incubating, and so we're gonna throw them in now. Oh, I'm so excited. 'Tis the season. I just wanted to show you guys on these foaming little shippers that you get from Zach, and I'm going to be using these too. The best way to get these guys out is, you can see one end has the tips and one has the fatter ends, which I've drawn my little M for Myshire. But what you're going to do is put your fingers through and just pop them right out the back like that. You can barely see it. Pop it right out the back with your fingers. It's a little trick. So you guys are going to need to know that if you get eggs from me or Zach, and I'll post a link for him to get eggs from him. Okay, you guys, now you got your incubators all set up and your eggs placed in your quail rails or whatever you guys have. Just wanted to share some information with you that you guys can set your eggs directly on your incubator floor, but you're going to have to turn them by hand 3 times a day, and that can kind of get irritating. Or if you don't have time, if you're at work, whatever, life gets a hold of you, the egg turner, the automatic egg turners are definitely a plus to have. So anyways, another topic of discussion is humidity, and you're definitely going to want to have your temperatures set on, you know, between 95.5 and 100.5 degrees. But with the humidity in certain areas and regions of, you know, the country / world, you're going to have different climates, and, you know, some places are arid and some places are, you know, have more moisture and that sort of thing in the air. So you're not going to need as much to add as much water, you know, for your humidity. So just keep an eye on that. You're going to have to definitely tinker with it in the beginning to get your humidity right. And I definitely need to point out to you guys that you have to keep your incubators away from drafts and open and closed doors that, you know, are used a lot, away from windows that have, you know, sunlight throughout different periods of the day coming in. Also, you know, if you have heaters and fireplaces, vents, that sort of thing, keep them away from it. You definitely want to have a stable environment for your incubators throughout the process. And let's see. Also, I wanted to let you guys that know that there are calendars and apps that you can use to track your hatch dates. And here's a couple examples: is Egg Hatcher and iHatch, and you guys can download those on your phone and put in all your numbers and kind of keep track of your hatches. And there's other ones where you can keep track of your birds and colors and that sort of thing too. So that is you know, pretty handy if you guys are tech savvy, that sort of thing. Also, you guys, I just want to clarify that day 1 on your hatch is going to be the following day that you set. Okay, so the day that you set your eggs is actually day 0. If you can, you know, think about it, it's not a complete day, it's day 0. So you're going to want to set your eggs at day 15 into lockdown. All right, we'll talk about lockdown in another video. Another thing I want to talk to you guys about, it's never ending here with me. So you guys want to use distilled water only when you're using, you know, placing water in your incubators. The distilled water is, you know, less harsh and stuff on your foam and plastic and whatnot if you happen to have, you know, well water or treated water and that sort of thing. And then these are just a couple little handy tools that I use for adding water in my incubation process. And I'll slip it down in there and do that, or I'll use my handy little straw and soak it up and plug the end, stick it down. Make sure not to get any water on your eggs, guys, during this process, okay? And then you can also use a syringe or something, but those are some options, so you don't have to actually open up the incubator top in the process. And so I forgot to mention that Zach gives these nifty little things out, and I'm gonna have to copy his idea for sure, but these are actually magnets, and it has the date that he you know, they laid and he collected them, and then the date that you set into your incubator, and then it has your lockdown date, and you can write it on there ahead of time, and then you can use those apps and stuff to keep track of that. But there's your little hatch day. Whee! So I am totally old school, and I'm going to show you guys what I do to keep track of my incubation and eggs. So they're on the top, incubation log, February 22. I'll have a little section for notes. I'll have my date, and then I'll write down where I got my eggs. So MSF is Myshire Farm, and then CQK is Cali Quail Keepers. And then I'll, you know, write set, and then those are the numbers that I'm setting and the colors. And so you can see I'm setting 70 eggs with this hatch. And then I always write the incubator number because I have several. And then you want to write the exact time, AM, PM. And then I have my lockdown date. And then at the time that you have your lockdown, if you want, you can candle your eggs and have your fertility rate. And then you can, at the end, do your hatch rate. And then I break it down into, obviously, because I've got my eggs and my Myshire Farm eggs in there. And then I'm also calculating my jumbos. So that's kind of my little calendar method that I use. So everything's on there and written down. And then you can use a spreadsheet or whatnot to keep track of your information as well. So I hope this helped you guys. And all these babies are set now. I've got 360 eggs set, and I will take you guys along with me through the hatching process and through lockdown, which is our next discussion. So we'll talk to you guys soon. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you guys have friends that you know, this information would be valuable to, and they're getting into quail, this process is, you know, very handy, and I think this is a descriptive video, so go ahead and share with your friends and family, and of course like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys at my next video. All right, take care.